I'd call now Pastor Alison Ebanks to say prayers.
Let us pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we here gathered this afternoon give you thanks for this privilege through Christ our Lord to bring our petitions and our intercessions before your throne of grace. We humbly ask that you would so order the deliberations of this gathering of the Legislative Assembly that all that is done may redound to the honor and the glory of your name, as well as for the safety, dignity, and welfare of the people of these Cayman Islands. We humbly ask that you continue to bless our Sovereign Lady, Queen Elizabeth II, Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, Charles, Prince of Wales, and all the royal family. We ask that you would give them wisdom, charity, and grace to all who exercise authority in our Commonwealth, that peace and happiness, truth and justice, religion and piety may be established among us. We especially pray this afternoon for His Excellency the Acting Governor, the Governor-Designate of our islands, Mr. Martyn Roper, and for the Premier, the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, the Leader of the Opposition, Ministers of the Cabinet, ex-officio members, and members of the Legislative Assembly, that they all may be enabled faithfully to perform the responsible duties of their high office. All this we ask for your great name's sake, in the name of Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Please remain standing for the national anthem.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen, save her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen.
Please be seated. Governor-Designate Mr. Roper and his good wife, His Excellency the Acting Governor, the Honorable the Premier, the Honorable the Chief Justice, and Mrs. Smelly, Acting Deputy Governor, the Honorable Gloria Macfield, Deputy Premier, other members of Cabinet, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, and other members of the Legislative Assembly, civil servants, Pastor Alison Ebanks, ladies and gentlemen, a warm Caymanian welcome to all of you for this very special occasion at the Legislative Assembly. And if you had to stand outside for a little while, you will realize just how warm it is. As Speaker, and more importantly, or just as important, Father of this august House, having served 30-odd years now as a representative from West Bay, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome our Governor-Designate and his good wife to our Cayman Islands, and his first entrance as a visitor to this hallowed chamber where we conduct our people's business. Sir, I speak on behalf of my fellow members of this honorable House. I do so too on behalf of all our people which we are supremely proud and these islands to call our home. I know there is a very busy schedule for the new governor right from the outset, with much to do in all three islands. I consider this a good thing because you, sir, will get to meet our greatest asset, our people of the Cayman Islands, with their warmth, enthusiasm, and genuine friendliness. They will soon impress upon you and your good wife how precious these islands and our people are. However, I also hope that you and your good wife will take time whenever you can, even during the hectic days in the next few weeks, to enjoy some quiet time on the patio of Government House in the district of West Bay. To effortlessly regroup, sir, all you have to do is sip your morning coffee or take high tea on that patio and let the balmy breeze, the sea in all its shades of blue, and the waves foaming against the pristine white sands, or the very calm, the flat Caribbean Sea you will find most of the time, and let it envelop you in the magic that is our Cayman Islands. One of my constituents said to me, sir, are you sure he's Roper? Because he don't look like Roper. I assured the lady, sir, you were not Raglan Roper, and indeed was our governor designate. Having said that, I also know the governor has a lot to assimilate and to learn about us in the coming days, just as we are eager to learn about you. We look forward to official meetings with you, and I certainly look forward to my first audience with you tomorrow. Mind you, sir, the audience is only to tell you that democracy is alive and well here, because I am the speaker and I am told I'm not to talk. I should say I find that difficult, a very difficult role after 36 years plus of talking. But sometimes I do appreciate the rest. Sir, from my observation, I can assure you that for the past several months, the Honorable Deputy Governor and the Chief Officer, Mrs. Gloria Macfield-Nixon, has done a sterling work in helping the Cabinet to keep the good ship Cayman Islands on a steady course and sure course. The government, you will find, is hardworking. They work and they work for the people of these islands. This legislature, you will find, doing the same. And you will find that we will have our disagreements. I will ask you, though, pay very little attention to that. Sometimes, as one of our sayings in the region is, cockroach has no business in rooster fight. Don't take that as an insult. Take that how it is meant. You will do best to listen. Sir, as a people, we look forward to a fruitful, engaging, and cordial relationship with you as the newest governor of our Cayman Islands. So with a glad heart, I once again wish you, sir, a genuine and hearty welcome to the Cayman Islands for the period of time that is designated for you. May the good Lord, who keeps us in his mighty care, bless you and your family, and indeed our Cayman Islands. To formally close, let me assure honorable members that the Sergeant at Arms is not the Sergeant at Arms. He's acting. Our Sergeant at Arms had to be off island. And so we want to thank him for playing both roles. From here, all participants, please note to follow as the program dictates.
Warrant of appointment. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of our other realms and territories, Queen, Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith, to our trusty and well-beloved Martyn Keith Roper, Officer of our most excellent Order of the British Empire. Greetings. We do, by this our commission, under our sign, manual, and signet, appoint you, the said Martyn Roper, to be our governor in and over our territory of the Cayman Islands, during our pleasure, with all the powers, rights, privileges, and advantages to the said office belonging or appertaining. And we do direct that your appointment shall take effect for the time of your disembarkation in our said territory. And we do hereby command all and singular, our officers and loving subjects in our said territory, and all others who it may concern, to take due notice hereof and to give their ready obedience accordingly. And we do hereby direct that this our commission shall determine upon signification to that effect being given by us through one of our principal secretaries of state, given at our Court of St. James this 29th day of October 2018 in the 67th year of our reign, by Her Majesty's command.
Your Excellency, may I invite you to take the oath of office. First, the oath of allegiance.
I, Martyn Keith Roper, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law.
Now the oath for due execution of office.
I, Martyn Keith Roper, do swear that I will well and truly serve Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, and the people of the Cayman Islands in the office of Governor of the Cayman Islands.
Your Excellency,
Thank you.
please allow me to congratulate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sorry.
sit here. Okay.
Please be seated.
Your Excellency, it is my honor and a real privilege to be the first to congratulate you on assuming the office of Governor of the Cayman Islands. I also take this opportunity, thank you, I needed to lean on. I also take this opportunity to again welcome you to these islands, you and your lovely wife, Elizabeth. I do hope that your children, Matthew and Jessica, will be able to visit here before too long. I expect they shall be as enthralled with these islands as most who visit here. I was also delighted that you initiated a video call with me early last week, and that we had the opportunity to meet, I'm not sure if this is correct, virtually. But I am very impressed with your extensive experience overseas, in particular experience with dealing with overseas territories. And I have to tell you, sir, that in my view, any man who likes bicycles and books has a head start in my estimation. I could not believe, quite frankly, that I could not have believed that I would be doing this again just 6 months since we welcomed the last governor. You, sir, are the 14th governor of these islands since we had such things, and there were 4 commissioners, 4 administrators who preceded you. You are my, I think, 7th governor. Smith, Dinwiddie, Jack, Taylor, Kilpatrick, Chowdhury, yes, my 7th governor. So I have had some experience in dealing with governors and in the transition that involves. You have come at a particular juncture in these islands when we are again facing some significant international challenges, and I am encouraged that you have some considerable experience in dealing with agencies such as the OECD. We shall very quickly, I believe, call upon that experience as we seek to address the current challenge, which has been extant now for almost 2 years, of the EU blacklisting exercise of jurisdictions which they conclude practice or are engaged in harmful tax practices. Sir, these islands have come a long way in my, I like to think, relatively short lifetime. Though we were first claimed as British pursuant to the 1670 Treaty of Madrid, I think it was 28th of September 1670, somewhere around there, and we've been settled since the early 1700s. It's really the last 50 years or so, 60 years, if we stretch it, that these islands have emerged into what, and have become what most people consider the modern Cayman. And so this year, we are celebrating the conferral of our coat of arms, conferred by Queen Elizabeth II in 1958, which you will see emblazoned just about everywhere you go. That, sir, is our first symbol of national identity, and one of which we are incredibly proud. And so over the course of this year, we have been having various celebrations. We're coming towards the close of the year, but I do believe there'll be opportunity for you to participate in one or two of those before the year's celebrations is over. That coat of arms is extremely symbolic. It reflects our link, our constitutional link with Jamaica, going back to the very early days of our settlement through the pineapple. The British lion, the wavy blue marks on it represent the sea, the 3 green stars, the 3 Cayman Islands. The turtle, which has been a symbol of Cayman's identity ever since we were settled. It provided food, it provided work, it provided revenue from export. And aside from that, Caymanians tend to love eating the creature, something that many people from elsewhere find, what am I looking for? Find a bit unusual. Let me use a neutral word. And then there is the thatch rope on which it sits, which again was one of our very earliest industries. And below it is a verse from Psalms. I think it's Psalms 24, verse 7, I believe, from memory. He hath founded it upon the seas, which underpins the coat of arms, but also underpins the backbone and the culture of this country. We were founded on the basis of Christian beliefs, which still persist, still pervade, still guide decisions made by those of us charged with that responsibility in this country. It is not so everywhere, but it is certainly so here. We start this parliament with prayer every day. We start cabinet with prayer every time cabinet meets. And you will find as you move around, almost any public meeting that there is, you'll get the national song, the national anthem, and a prayer. That's the Cayman way. And so, sir, as I said quite recently to your predecessor, take time to get to know these islands, to get to know the uniqueness of our people. We do not have one of those very vibrant and flamboyant cultures. There are subtleties that run through everything Caymanians do and say. And if you are not perceptive, and if you do not take time to learn, you will miss a lot of messages, because Caymanians are generally not very overt, particularly if they're going to be critical of you. Except if you listen to the talk show in the morning. Don't do that, sir. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your digestion. But, sir, there are a number of significant challenges, as I alluded to, even in relation to, with respect to our relationship with the United Kingdom. I do believe that our relationship, the government's relationship with the United Kingdom, is on very strong grounds. And that is why we have been able to not only withstand, but we've been able to work through some of these challenges. Many of these are not the making of the civil servants or the Foreign Commonwealth Office. They are the will of the British Parliament in many instances, and a great deal of misperceptions remain and exist in the UK and more broadly across Europe and indeed other places in the world about what we do here in terms of business, particularly the financial services related business. And this, unfortunately, affects the way we are dealt with in a number of respects. I speak in particular, sir, with respect to the Anti-Money Laundering and Sanctions Act, and the clear constitutional overreach which the Parliament of the United Kingdom exercised in seeking to legislate domestically for a territory such as the Cayman Islands, not just us, but a territory such as the Cayman Islands, outside the scope of the constitutional order which presently exists. Those are some of the challenges that we have to deal with on a regular basis. More recently, we had another unfortunate issue with the NCA. We've managed to resolve all of these things. I cite these not because I'm complaining really about them. We know that about them, I'm sure you do. But to say that your role, sir, as governor is not an easy one. I fully understand the challenges of walking that line between your responsibility as a representative of the Queen and an appointee of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, and your role as governor in helping to protect, defend, and help these islands to continue to prosper. The really good governors that I have had to deal with have been able to walk that line very effectively. And I do hope, sir, that in time to come, I or those who follow me are able to include you in that relatively short list of good governors. The role which you play in cabinet is also important, notwithstanding the fact that under the current constitution, the governor has no decision-making role or veto power in cabinet. The role as chairman provides, I believe, a great opportunity for you to receive feedback from the cabinet as well as cabinet to have your views on particular issues. I have found that over the course of my time, not just as premier, which has just gone 5 years, but my previous term as a minister, to be very invaluable, to have an objective, one hopes, perspective on matters which though locally relevant, will benefit from a broader perspective. I also personally value the opportunity to discuss a range of issues with the governor on a regular basis. Indeed, our constitution requires regular consultation between the premier and the governor. And I do hope that we can swiftly arrive at an arrangement so that we are able to do that in order to help facilitate the business of the cabinet and the government more generally. There are some other challenges ahead, and I'm hoping not to embarrass the Chief Justice by even raising this particular one in his presence. But we have the long-standing issue about, I suppose I can use the colloquial term, gay marriages and the rights of same-sex couples, which is currently, one matter of which is currently before the court. And of course, the ongoing dialogue and debate and, if I am frank, pressure from the United Kingdom government for the Cayman Islands and some of its other territories to accede to their thrust for these islands to validate such relationships. These are difficult areas, very difficult areas. There are mixed views in the community. There are mixed views even in my caucus and in my cabinet. They are very difficult to navigate politically. I almost lost my previous government over those issues. So I say this, sir, not to cause you not to rest well tonight, but to give you a little insight into some of the very significant issues which these islands face and those of us who bear the leadership roles face. Happily, in financial terms, the Cayman Islands is in as good a place from the government perspective as ever it was. And government revenues are strong and solid. The economy is doing far better than any economy in the region. GDP growth has just been published for the previous 6 months at 4%, estimated to level out to 3% for the year, when most places around the region are at 0 or 0.5%, some even less. Unemployment has fallen from a high of 10.5% in 2012 to 3.2% currently. So government is pressing ahead with major infrastructure projects over the course of the previous term and the first 15, 16 months of this term. Government has not raised any taxes or duties, nor have we borrowed any long-term money. We continue to pay down government debt. So far, we've paid down $135 million in the last 5 years. Moody has renewed our credit rating at AA3, one of the highest, it's the highest in all of the overseas territories, one of the highest in the region. So we're doing very well in that aspect. But that is not to say that we do not have problems and social issues. One of the great challenges we have faced over the course of these many years is how do we balance the significant immigration, which has been a major factor in our success. When I was born, which I like to think was not that long ago, the population was 8,500 people. It's now about 65,000 people. We've got about 24,000 of those are people on work permits. And so we have had 135 nationalities are mixed up in that 65,000 people. As a friend of mine in Barbados said, the Cayman Islands is the United Nations of the Caribbean. There's no other nation in the region that even comes close to that diversity in terms of nationalities. And it's made for tremendous success on a number of fronts, from the availability of cuisine, the different cuisines that are here, to the sports that we play, to the attitude of people. It's been hugely positive in many ways, but it comes with its share of social strains. And one of the greatest challenges that we face is the continued perception by many local people that they do not get fair opportunities, particularly when it comes to employment, in terms of promotion and upward mobility. And so my government, like governments before, have struggled and are struggling with this issue. And we are doing a number of things, we hope, which help to deal with this. One, we've created an economy and an environment where there is a great availability of jobs and opportunities. So now we have to make sure that the Caymanians who are willing and able to do these jobs get them, which means better education. At its core, better education, but also fairness by employers in selection. And so one of the things we're doing is combining what were previous functions of immigration, dealing with the work permit application process, and the Department of Labor Relations into a new department called WORC, W-O-R-C, Workforce Opportunities Permanent Residency. And I forget what the C is for. Cayman. Shouldn't forget that. And we are also pressing ahead with the creation by legislation of a Fair Opportunities Employment Commission to be able to effectively investigate and sanction discrimination in the workplace. I give you this, sir, because I do not wish for you, nor do I wish to be accused of painting an overly rosy picture of these islands. We do have our share of challenges. But in the context of the region and in the broader context of the world, this place is still paradise. And so, sir, I've sort of gone around these issues a little, gone over these issues a little to give you some flavor, I think, of the challenges that lie ahead and the opportunities for you to make a real difference and a real contribution to helping to move these islands forward. I want to finish by thanking, not just thanking, but commending the Honorable Franz Manderson for the exceptional job he has done as acting governor. And most people might think that Franz, pardon me, that Franz and I get on like a house on fire. Well, generally we do. But we've had our share of ups and downs too. It's just the nature of the respective posts we hold. And I fear, sir, that you and I are likely to have a similar experience over time. But I do hope, sir, as I've said to the Overseas Territories Minister, Lord Ahmed, that you are able to stay on long term. The last thing these islands need is disruption. And so I hope that when that time comes, I am asked for, and that I will be able to provide you with a glowing reference. Welcome to Cayman, sir.
Good afternoon. Protocol has been established. Your Excellency, Ms. Elizabeth, or Lizzie, on behalf of the entire public sector, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the Cayman Islands. We in the civil service and wider public service very much looking forward to working with you and tapping into your considerable experience and expertise as we work to deliver on our bold vision of a world-class civil service. Sir, normally when I give my welcome remarks, I normally give a snapshot of what's happening in the civil service, but I think we covered that at lunch. So permit me, sir, please, to just say a lot of thank yous to a lot of people. Premier, when you and I had a meeting one Saturday morning in June, and we discussed what was ahead of us, you said to me, Acting Governor, you and I can run the ship for next few weeks. That turned into a few months, actually 5 months. First, sir, I want to thank you very much, personally, profoundly, and sincerely, for your support, for your advice, for your counsel. We would not have gotten through or gotten to where we are today without your assistance, sir, and I thank you very much. To my colleagues in Cabinet, thank you very much for your cooperation and assistance. We had numerous meetings of Cabinet which went exceptionally well. I have advised the Governor of our experiences and told him to expect some nice lunch at the end, some Caymanian food. I also want to thank our Attorney General for his advice and for stepping into the role on a couple of occasions so that I could take a short break and give a speech in Barbados last week. So thank you very much, Mr. Attorney General. To Ms. Gloria McField-Nixon, the acting deputy governor, and all of the other chief officers who acted as deputy governor from time, Mr. Borden, Ms. Ahern, Dr. Dax. Thank you all very much for doing an excellent job. It allowed me to concentrate on my duties as acting governor, and you got on with the work, and I sincerely thank you for that. Mr. Speaker, thanks for your support, and sir, I'm going to say it from now. If I'm not at the next meeting of Parliament, it is because I've taken some vacation, sir, and I really need it. Yes, sir. To the Leader of the Opposition and his team, thank you for your support as well. We've had some interesting times, and again, I sincerely thanks all of you for your support. It's really been a great team effort. To the staff in the Governor's office, who's up here, thank you all very much for making me feel so welcome and giving me lots of support. Ms. Renee, thank you for always reminding me that I needed to use the Jaguar. Governor, the Jaguar is yours. But thank you all very much for all your assistance. You really made me feel like I was the governor, and you gave me really great support. Thank you very much. To my staff from the Deputy Governor's Office, Ms. Jody and Tanisha and Jordana who are here, and Nancy, thank you all very much for everything that you have done. You kept saying you wanted your boss back. Well, I'm back. And it's good, and it's really good to be back. To all of the persons in the protocol, CapSec and his team, and I saw Melanie and Christy upstairs. Thank you all very much for all the great work that you have done. I see Jana there as well, for putting on this amazing arrival ceremony to welcome His Excellency. I will close by also thanking the persons who will report directly to the Governor, the Auditor General, the DPP, our Ombudsman who was here, for their great support as well. I know I said finally, but I do want to thank my family as well, my wife, who put up with me doing lots and lots of work over the past 5 months, and my children as well, and my mother. Sir, as the Premier said, I think this is as close to paradise as you're going to get. I saw the look on your face and Mr. Elizabeth's face when you walked out of Government House and you saw 7 Mile Beach for the first time. That is not something that I'm going to forget. And sir, welcome. And on behalf of all of us in the public service, we very much look forward to working with you. I thank you.
Honourable Premier, Honourable Chief Justice, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Deputy Governor, Honourable Ministers and Members of Cabinet, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Deputy Speaker, Members of the Legislative Assembly. Thank you, Honourable Premier and Deputy Governor, for the very warm welcome you have given to me and my wife, Lizzie, this morning. It's an enormous privilege and honour to have been appointed by Her Majesty the Queen as the Governor of the Cayman Islands. We are both tremendously excited and looking forward to living and working here. I expect to serve as your Governor for at least 6 to 9 months, but I sincerely hope I may be given the opportunity to serve longer. But however long I am here, I can assure you of my utmost determination to build your trust and to serve you to the best of my abilities. Now, I realise that the timing and circumstances of my arrival are unusual and come after a difficult and uncertain period following the withdrawal of my predecessor. And I know that some people have been frustrated at the lack of specific information surrounding the reasons for Governor Chowdhury's removal from office, and that is understandable. But I do want to stress that the Foreign and Commonwealth Office has handled this case entirely in line with well-established and rigorous civil service procedures. And these emphasize, above all, absolute respect for the privacy of the individuals concerned. So there are good reasons, therefore, why further information cannot be divulged. And I hope you will accept my assurance on that. I would particularly like to thank Frans Manderson for his excellent work as acting governor, as we've heard, throughout this period, and all the staff in the Governor's Office, Deputy Governor's Office, and at Government House for the calm, dignified and professional manner in which they have continued their work. I'm sure it was not an easy time for everyone, but it is now time to move forward in a spirit of partnership and cooperation to deliver enhanced security and prosperity for all the people of these wonderful islands. I recognise I have a lot to learn, and I will rely on the help of all of you. I am keen to understand the views, concerns and aspirations of all the people of the Cayman Islands, including on the debate about constitutional change. So I will want to listen to the Premier, the Leader of the Opposition, other elected representatives, public servants, business, civil society and communities. I hope you will find me accessible, straightforward, open and willing to listen. I'll be conducting wide-ranging media interviews to introduce myself in the coming days. And I've heard so many positive things about these islands, and I am keen to learn more. I will shortly visit the sister islands of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and look forward to seeing the natural beauty of your island's environment. And I think the image that I saw when I walked into the house this morning will also live with Lizzie and I for the rest of our lives. I recognise that you are a unique community, and it is principally for you to shape your future. I want to contribute positively to that future, operating with a light touch where possible, yet recognising our respective responsibilities as set out in the Constitution. Balancing rights and responsibilities in this way will enable us to work together collaboratively for mutual benefits. And you have so much to be proud of from your excellent financial services industry, making a truly global impact, your high-quality tourism sector, your highly talented people, sound public finance, strong economic growth, a professional civil service so ably led by the Deputy Governor, dedicated and hard-working law enforcement officers and agencies, a strong legal system and a highly respected judiciary that underpins your success, thriving charitable and community assistance networks that my wife and I look greatly forward to supporting, and of course the outstanding natural beauty of the islands, which I've heard so much about. And I know already that the Cayman Islands are a shining example to many in the region. So we should celebrate our successes as we at the same time seek continuous improvement in all that government does. Local knowledge, ideas and expertise are central to this effort, but it can be supplemented by access to expert and specialist advice and support from the UK to deliver real sustainable change and mutual benefit for all. And that is a powerful combination. So the Governor's Office will continue to actively promote and support many areas of the government's work. We are closely involved in some of the big projects which are transforming the way that we all protect the Cayman Islands from crime and other threats such as natural disasters. And I also want to do more to explain the work of the Governor's Office, making more use of social media to increase awareness of what we do and break down any barriers. I will, of course, pay particular attention to good governance, which earns respect abroad and underpins stability and predictability, and for which we all have responsibility. I will engage closely in the areas where the Constitution provides specific responsibilities to the Office of the Governor, internal security, defence and external relations. And there can be no greater responsibility than maintaining security, peace and law and order in these islands. I salute the important and dedicated work done by the law enforcement agencies and the RCIPS. My staff are closely involved with work to modernise border protection, including the formation of the new Customs and Border Control Department and the new Coast Guard. I will continue to focus on these areas and the important work that the National Security Council does to provide cross-party and civil society input to security matters. And the Honourable Premier has spoken previously of an initiative to strengthen the RCIPS Air Operations Unit, which has become such a vital tool in the fight against crime and for search and rescue and medevac operations. I'm pleased to announce that the UK and the Cayman Islands are now discussing the potential for a joint project to purchase and operate a second helicopter. If approved, this would not only be used to provide greater resilience to the Cayman Islands, but also to support vital operations for disaster relief and law enforcement in the other overseas territories, as we saw last year when the RCIPS helicopter deployed so successfully to TCI after Hurricane Irma. And I will continue to work closely with the Ministry of Home Affairs on prisons. The UK provides support and advice on prisons policy and is supporting a project to establish an effective independent monitoring mechanism for all of the Cayman Islands correctional institutions. Members of my staff also have experience of disaster management. I see it as a key responsibility to work closely with the Hazard Management Cayman Islands, agencies in the UK and the region to ensure that we are as prepared as possible for disasters, both natural and man-made. And this is an area of vital importance to both the Cayman Islands and the UK, and it's an area where we need to collaborate effectively. I've mentioned the importance I will attach to ensuring good governance. Compliance with human rights obligations, including the right to equality for all Cayman Islanders, is an integral part of that, but I do recognise there are sensitivities. My office is also and will remain heavily engaged with the Department of Children and Family Services, RCIPS and other key departments and stakeholders on child safeguarding. The Cayman Islands leads the way in this area in the overseas territories and will continue to innovate and develop to ensure the children of the territory are protected and flourish for generations to come. And I'm pleased that together with the Cayman Islands Crisis Centre, we'll be launching a new child line next month to provide a vital link for children to seek advice and support when they need it. This is a first in the region and demonstrates how far the Cayman Islands has come in this important area. I also welcome the Premier's announcement to create a new Ministry of International Trade and Investment. This is an area where there is much scope for working together even more closely. The UK, with its responsibilities for external affairs, has one of the most extensive networks of diplomatic and trade missions in the world, which can support this work. The Far East is emerging as an important opportunity for businesses in the Cayman Islands. I have spent time in my diplomatic career working on trade and investment, most recently in China as head of an 800-strong UK network there, and I will be delighted to support efforts to develop Cayman Islands' work in this area. I'm very aware of the importance of financial services to the Cayman Islands economy, and in particular that beneficial ownership has been a difficult area in the UK's relationship with the Cayman Islands for some time. And I recognise the concern caused by the passing in the UK of the Sanctions and Anti-Money Laundering Act. Balancing the Cayman Islands' right to compete and set its rates of taxation with the high standards needed to prevent harmful use of financial services will continue to pose challenges. Being on the front foot and proactively getting ahead of the curve on regulation and enforcement will, in the long run, ensure we can address risks with confidence. I warmly welcome the constructive role played by the Premier in the agreement to re-engage with the exchange of notes process on beneficial ownership information sharing between law enforcement agencies. And I think that is a really positive signal that we can together solve contentious issues. Finally, let me assure you that I take great pride in being part of these islands, especially in the year that we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the coat of arms, which reflects a strong sense of the Cayman Islands' national pride. I will always strive to do my utmost for the Cayman Islands. I will fight your corner as a friend to the best of my ability and help London to understand your point of view. I am keen to get to work and hope to meet as many Caymanians as possible in the coming days and months and to learn about your history, stories, culture and aspirations. And thank you in advance for sharing these with me. God bless the Cayman Islands.
land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair, with thy Creator's glory reflected everywhere. O sea of palest emerald, merging to darkest blue, whene'er my hearts fly Godward, I'll always think of you. Dear verdant island set in blue Caribbean sea, I'm coming, coming very soon. Oh, beauteous isle, to thee, although I've wandered far, my heart enshrines thee yet. Homeland fair Cayman Isle, I cannot thee forget.
Please remain standing for the recessional.
Sir, bow to the proposition and to the opposition.